HIMARS ambushed a Russian military convoy. Large Russian tank convoy completely destroyed. Russian helicopter shot down by Ukrainian FPV. Russian soldiers surrendered. 2 Russian soldiers tried to escape from the FPV drone. The war between Russia and Ukraine continues in a very tense situation. Both sides are trying to do their best. Who do you think will win this war? How do you think FPV drones are shaping modern warfare? Will there be a way to stop FPV drones? Most importantly, how long will Russia continue this war? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe to the video for a healthy and peaceful retirement life. Russian tank explodes in Zaporizhzhia region. The liquidation of Russian BMP and an armored personnel carrier on the Zaporizhzhia front. What do you think about the place of FPV drones in modern warfare? Major operation against Russian convoy near the village of Plekova, Kursk region. Ukrainian forces, using FPV drones and artillery, are repelling a massive Russian assault near the village of Plekova in the Kursk region. Almost all vehicles and crew of the Russian convoy are destroyed. These expensive Russian vehicles were destroyed by seemingly simple but very effective FPV drones. Of course, Ukraine does not only carry out drone attacks, but FPV drones are a low-cost, very fast, and very effective weapon. It is almost impossible for soldiers to escape by running or hiding. The last journey of a Russian motorcycle rider in the Kursk region. For this moped rider in the Kursk region, this trip was the last. Your drone was effectively used by soldiers of the 3rd DSHB of the 80th Galician Brigade. 2 Russian soldiers got inside the damaged BMP to hide from the FPV drone, but they did not know that it is impossible to escape from the FPV drone. And finally, it happened. A Russian Mi-8 helicopter was shot down by successful Ukrainian FPV drones. Another defeat of a Russian helicopter using a FPV drone. Soldiers of the M2 unit of the Special Operations Center of the SBU, working in the Kursk region of Russia, were able to hit another Russian helicopter with a FPV drone. This time, the Mi-8 was hit in the tail by a drone with a powerful One Russian BMP was completely destroyed, as always, with only 1 FPV drone. It is possible to destroy these vehicles, which cost thousands or even millions of dollars, with cheap drones. Russian vehicles and tanks were completely destroyed in Selidov in Donetsk. This morning, the Russians tried to break through the positions of the 15th Karadag Brigade south of Selidovo. All the equipment was destroyed. The infantry was eliminated. There is replenishment of the exchange fund. If any of the Russian tanks and any of the Ukrainian tanks face to face, which tank would win? To support our channel, you can click the join button or send a super donation. Javelin in the area of Selidovo liquidates the Russian tank T-72B3M. How resistant do you think Russian tanks are to T-90 cooks off after taking a blast from a drone. Flame-throwing drone burned everything in the Kursk region. In the Kursk region, Ukrainian drones are burning Russian ammunition, supplies, and various military equipment in forested areas. This fire-breathing drone is used to destroy anything hidden in the woods. What do you think about the direction drones are taking the war in general? For various reasons, Russian soldiers surrender from time to time. Why do you think they surrendered this time? Footage from a drone at the Sudza checkpoint in the Kursk region of Russia, showing the capture of Russian conscripts. During recent assault operations, the Russians used a lightly armored communication vehicle that also served as a repeater, as it was thought, our scouts found, and FPV-Shniki destroyed the field communication point. Rusores are ready to fight. Russians are storming our positions every day. The company of the 79th Air Assault Brigade of the Perun Group, together with other comrades, is giving a worthy rebuff to the invaders. After successful drops from the play, the paratroopers of the 79th ODS HBR forced the enemy to flee in disorder. The Russian vehicle was carrying Russian soldiers. The drone, coming from behind, attacked the vehicle. The second attack took place but was not accurate. The soldiers ran away after the vehicle stopped. On the Avdiivka direction, suicide of a group of Russian infantry. Russians hid in a destroyed APC. The 47th Brigade rectified the situation and hit that APC with its filling. Fighters of the Steel Border accurately and enchantingly deliver explosive gifts to the invaders. The Security Service of Ukraine dealt a powerful blow with a kamikaze drone to the Russian MTLB. The explosion of the Russian armored vehicle occurred from the first blow of the FPV throne of Ukrainian Marines. This is another proof of interesting solutions to Russian designers who installed a tank-caliber gun with an appropriate amount of ammunition for easily armored equipment. How can the Russian tank survive this drone attack? Of course he can't do this. Escape from drones is almost impossible. You can only escape if the drone runs out of battery, because drones never get tired. This Russian tank had been followed by Ukrainian FPV drone pilots for a long time. There were 3 drone attacks. Russian soldiers wanted to get on the tank that came to help them and escape. However, that tank was also attacked. They then ran away into the forest area. The Ukrainian army is carrying out a major operation against the Russian convoy consisting of 7 vehicles. They destroy all vehicles one by one. Soldiers getting out of damaged vehicles are looking for a place to take cover. All vehicles were destroyed one by one. Mission complete. Jewelry work of our soldiers of the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade, who side by side together with the combat brothers of friendly units destroy the Russians in the Avdiivka direction. Straight into the hatch. A drone of the 53rd Brigade neutralizes a Russian tank. Didn't make it to Berlin. Destruction of a Russian Buk M3 air defense system by a kamikaze drone strike. Russian intelligence communication vehicle was disabled as a result of 2 Ukrainian kamikaze attacks. As a result of this attack, the Russians were unable to communicate with their soldiers on the battlefield for a while. Ukrainian soldiers in a Humvee survived an intense artillery shelling and failed attack by a Russian kamikaze drone. One can imagine what the soldiers inside the vehicle were feeling. The driver of the KAMAZ 65225 tractor during the persecution was forced to make an emergency stop to save his miserable life. Enemy vehicles entering the area of responsibility of the 47th Brigade do not return. Is there any way to stop FPV drones? Do you think tanks are no longer useful on the battlefield? Will wars be fought only with unmanned aerial vehicles in the future? Ukrainian military repelled a Russian attack near the village of Krinky in the Kherson region using FPV drones. In this attack, a large Russian convoy was forced to retreat and half of it was destroyed. FPV drones are of great help to the Army as always. Would you like to be an FPV drone pilot, or have you ever used a drone before? Russian tank, which thought it could not be seen because it was camouflaged, was neutralized by an FPV drone. Repelling a large assault with 46 units of equipment this morning in the Kharkiv direction. Incredible. The 46th Separate Air Assault Brigade destroyed 9 BMPs, 2 tanks, 2 APCs, and 2 motorcycles, and rendered 11 more BMPs inoperable. The remaining equipment fled the battlefield. First, the Ukrainians attacked the tanks, then they hunted down the soldiers who got off the tanks one by one. Another video of the operation of our tanks from Korn Group in the Zaporizhzhia direction. The Russians are working on the tanks with ATGMs and Lancets, but the crews persevered and continued the attack on the enemy's positions. Russian tanks were destroyed every day during the war. However, this time the Russian tank was blown up by a Ukrainian kamikaze before the war even started. I'm sorry, but these two poor Russian soldiers are trying to escape from the FPV drone. It is almost impossible to escape from FPV drone. By the way, how did these soldiers not shoot each other? Very interesting. The Russian soldier made a very smart move and saved his own life at the last moment. We do not strive for war. We wish you a peaceful and quiet life. We did not initiate contact, did not kill anyone. A pack of prisoners of war of Russian conscripts from the Kursk region. Russian truck wants to repair the broken bridge, but the FPV drone came to attack and the truck was destroyed. Another construction vehicle was also spotted among the trees, and the room was destroyed. The pickup vehicle that wanted to take gasoline and other items to the truck was blown up. M142, HIMARS destroys the Russian SuperCam UAV calculation. The attacked vehicle was completely destroyed. The soldier is running away. How effective do you think these drones are? These three soldiers are very lucky, because if they had been 10 seconds late, maybe they wouldn't be alive right now. The Gyatsint S Russian self-propelled artillery unit was destroyed near Petrovka in the Zaporizhia region. Border guards demolished 2 enemy observation posts in the Zaporizhia direction. The Russians are surrendered. Zaporizhia direction. Operators of attack UAVs of the Revenge Brigade destroyed an armored personnel carrier and a cannon. The machine gunner's firing point and 2 more guns in the Kramatorsk direction were also damaged. Russian vehicles, which set out in the early hours of the morning, entered the radar of FPV drones, and 3 Russian vehicles were completely neutralized in the early hours of the morning. Wounded soldiers are looking for a place to hide. A HIMARS missile struck a group of Russian soldiers during an ammunition delivery for the MT-12 Rapora gun on the front lines in the Luhansk region. These Ukrainian FPV drone pilots, who have sworn to completely eliminate the Russian convoy, consisting of 7 tanks and vehicles, are destroying the vehicles one by one. Only 1 drone is enough for a huge vehicle. This is what happened to some of the 500,000 eliminated Russians who came to murder Ukrainians and destroy the country. The invaders' tank was discovered by GPSU air scouts near the contact line, after which FPV drone operators disabled it. The case was successfully completed by night bombers. A few more videos from the Avdiivka direction on, which show the movement of enemy convoys of vehicles and military units. Technically, he is on fire 53 OMBR.